Give it another minute, just because we have some few folks that are hopping on right now. Started. Looks like we're getting a good group of folks. All right, we'll give another 30 seconds or so and give people a chance to hop on. Very good. Let's go ahead and get going. I don't want to take too much time. Appreciate everyone taking time tonight to be able to join us for our first popcorn kickoff for the 2024 sales season. You'll probably hear some thunder in the background just because, Florida. But just want to welcome everyone. If you don't know who I am, my name is Travis Emery. I'm the Director of Field Service for the Greater Tampa Bay Area Council. I had the privilege of running the popcorn sale last year, and then I'm also helping you run it this year because Kyle Moldine, who is the field director for the west side of the council, is going to be our popcorn colonel for the council. And so I'm just going to be supporting him as we go through. So just a few housekeeping items as we get started. Obviously, being on Zoom, hopefully everyone has that good Zoom etiquette from all the years that we were doing this. But please be sure to keep yourself muted. You're welcome to keep your cameras off if you'd like. Just keep yourself muted for the duration of the meeting. We're going to be taking questions, but go ahead and throw those in the chat box as they come up. Honestly, we'll probably answer them tonight before you even know it. So just be sure that you go ahead and throw it in the chat box. And if it gets answered, great. If it does not, be sure to let Kyle and I know in the chat box what questions you have. And we do have some district colonels with us as well. They'll be able to help answer some of those questions. Of course, this meeting will be recorded. We're going to upload it to our GTBAC popcorn webpage at the end of this week. So be on the lookout for that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then it means that we're going to talk about that tonight as well. So you'll be able to reference this meeting for any information. And then, like I mentioned on that popcorn webpage, you can go to tampabayscouting.org/popcorn. That's going to be something that you should bookmark. And then also the Trails End Unit Leader Portal. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then lastly, for you to be able to get credit for participating and listening in tonight, we're going to be sending out an attendance roster near the end. So be sure to don't log off before you fill out that attendance roster. It should take you less than 10 seconds to do. We'll be sure to add that in the chat box near the end of the meeting. So again, thank you all so much for being able to come and participate in this. We're really excited about having another banner year with popcorn. Feel like it's been able to provide a lot of great adventures, a lot of journeys, scouting adventures and journeys to be able to highlight. So hopefully each of your kids that have sold last year will be able to do a great job. And if you're new this year, welcome. We're going to get you off to a great start. It'll be wonderful. So just to kick us off quick, I just wanted to briefly talk about making sure that you're registered to sell. If you have not had a chance to sign your unit up, you can scan that QR code with your phone, with your camera there on your phone. and then you can get your unit signed up. It's a really easy process to get your unit signed up. Currently, we're at 112 units in our council with 2,773 scouts registered to sell this year, which is awesome. And we do have 23 new units signed up to sell that have never sold before. So welcome if you're on the call tonight. We're really excited to have you here. And then also, hopefully many of you have noticed, especially you returning colonels, in the Trails End Unit Leader portal, you have to be able to get your individual scouts signed up. You have Trails End added a unit code, and you can see a screenshot of that with my unit there. Don't use that code because that's for my unit unless you want to give all the credit to my kids' unit. Each of you have your own unit code when you log into the Trails End Unit Leader portal. Be sure to utilize that code. You give it the code to the families. They download the Trails End app to their smartphone. And so when they create a new account, they're going to use that code, and it's automatically going to link that scout to your unit. So like I said, you'll have to get that code through the Unit Leader portal, and it's on the left-hand side as soon as you sign in. And then also for any returning scouts, all they need to do to get linked up again is to just sign in using their 2023 username and password. So whatever you did or whatever the parents did, they just need to sign back in, and then they'll be linked up ready to sell for 2024. All right. Hopefully that gave you enough time to screenshot that if you needed to. All right, just a quick overview. 2023, like I said, was a banner year. We had a 26% increase over 2022. So great job to all of you that helped out. We did just about $1.2 million. And kind of our bread and butter, and with many councils in the United States, 72% is storefront sales. You know, being able to stand out in front of a Publix, a Winn-Dixie, or other stores that you have relationships with. And our communities really came out in force last year to support us and support our scouts. So you should be really proud of that fact. And then you can see there wagon sales being around 13% of our sales. So those are those door-to-door sales, the cute kids walking around asking to help them get to summer camp. And then, of course, we have online sales, which is a great way to be passive-aggressive way of selling, I guess is a good way to put it. So we'll be able, so it's a really great job to all of you in that regard. And then we did have over 3,100 scouts sell. And we handed out over 2,600 patches last year. For many of you remember, it was the game controller that looked like a Super Nintendo controller, kind of a throwback to those that remember that. And the great thing is you can see the average sold per scout was $657. So we don't mess around in this council. Our kids are gung-ho about getting out there and selling. You know, a lot of that money is going towards their scout camps, their day camps, their program, anything and everything to help them have a wonderful scouting experience. And then the average unit commission was around 34%. Each of our units have the potential to earn up to 40%. So 34% is a high percentage for you to be able to, from last year, to be able to enjoy. And then last one there, we're very, very proud of this fact. Over $55,000 was donated to different Heroes and Helpers agencies, such as fire departments, the military, like MacDill Air Force Base. So a lot of our agencies that help us and help our communities, we were able to donate plenty of popcorn to them. So you should be really proud of that fact as well. And we handed out over 600 of those Heroes and Helpers patches. So really great stuff. And then just on a ground scale, I thought this was neat to share just how we kind of measured up and how everyone did across the nation. You know, we did have a unit, Pack 313, and our council sold over almost $200,000, which is phenomenal. But you can see there's 2 units that in the country that sold over $200,000, which seems like a lot. And it does take a lot of work, but ultimately it's a very doable thing. And you can see across the nation that the communities really came out, especially post-COVID. They've been really excited about what scouting has to offer and really excited to see our kids out and about. So very, very, very awesome. So, for those of you that are returning, you understand the importance of being able to sell popcorn. I just wanted to share a few highlights of why, if you're new to the popcorn sale, you should sell popcorn. Obviously, it helps fund a lot of the adventures, everything from campouts to those blue and gold celebrations, Pinewood Derbies, anything and everything that you can think of. Really, the sky's the limit when it comes to what your sales and what your kids can accomplish. This is the fourth council, BSA council I've worked for in my career so far. I had a unit who wanted to go on a cruise, and they sold popcorn to be able to do that. And then I had a troop who wanted to go to scout camp in Alaska, and they wanted to be able to go do that, and they did. And so, like I said, really what it is the sky's the limit. You can you can sell as much popcorn as you want and really just run with it. Plus the experience that your kids are getting as they are going through the process of selling, going from the not having the confidence to being able to approach a stranger, be able to talk to a person face to face, and that salesmanship. And ultimately, for those kids and troops or crews or ships that are working on merit badges, they can work on the salesmanship merit badge as well as part of it. Just a lot of great things that can happen as these kids are out and about selling popcorn. So we'll go ahead and keep moving on here. I've been doing a lot of talking, so I'm going to turn it over to Drew Aljakati. He is our Skyway District Colonel. So for those of you that are in the Skyway District, this is your go-to guy. So Drew is going to talk about different ways to sell. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Drew.
Yep. And good evening, everyone. I'm going to keep this as short as possible, but I'm going to be discussing ways to sell and then what makes a successful sale. And so there's three main ways to sell, and that's, as Travis kind of talked about earlier, online, which is more you send someone who's not in the area a link, a QR code, and they can order directly online from Trails End, and then your troops will get a set commission based off of that. There's storefront sales, which is our main focus and where we get a majority of our sales through. And as you'll see, it actually has a higher average sales per hour than the other two. And then the other one is wagon sales, which is more of your traditional door-to-door. A great thing about the online is, one, you don't have to hold on to product. And two, you can just send out a blast email with a QR code, put it on your social media, text, email. But as I said, there's a set commission. And Travis, is it still 30% or is it 20%?
It's 30%. You're right there, Drew.
Okay. And so with the storefront, what you do is you'll sign up through Trails End for a specific time slot. They're usually 2 hours for younger scouts, or you can do 4 hours for older scouts. And these are places like Winn-Dixie, Publix, I think some Home Depot or Lowe's. And what you'll do is set up your table there and be able to sell popcorn directly to those people coming in and out of the store. The wagon sales, as I said, is your typical door-to-door approach. If allowed, a scout can go just within his neighborhood asking for support. And then all the sales can be done using the Trails End app for each one of these options. You want to go on to the next slide. So here's
Sorry.
yeah. No, I just wanted to kind of go over what's new and returning this year. We have a new unit incentive, which is very similar to what the incentive was last year. If you're a new unit that didn't sell previously and you sign up for a storefront and have a sales, you're given a certain amount of free product. And I think it's around $500. Is that right, Travis?
Yeah, around $530.
The other thing is we're going to be doing district colonel journals, where basically we're going to try to do a blast email and showing the troops and scouts out in the area selling popcorn. And then, of course, the theme last year, I believe, was Nintendo and Mario, and this year is Pokemon. So those are the big differences this year. Moving on to the next slide, as I kind of discussed, we do have a new unit incentives. So if you're a new unit who did not sell in 2023, you can receive $530 in free product. All you have to do is sign up for a storefront shift and record a sales through the Trails End app. And then Travis, how do they get the product from there, the free product?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when the pre-order time is, which is now, you can go ahead and pre-order popcorn. You can put in that amount for $530, and we know who those units are, so we will send you an email identifying, letting you know that you are one of the new units, and then we will tell you exactly which cases of popcorn to purchase to be able to meet that $530 in new products. So,
Okay. Moving on to the next slide, and we're going to kind of talk about the technological side of making these sales as easy as possible for you and your troops. So there's a Trails End app, which is only for the scouts, but you have access to the leader portal, which is still accessible through your phone, but it has to be done through a web browser. Trails End has some really great text to help assist you and your unit achieve whatever success level you really want. The app is where most scout and family related things are going to happen. That's where the scouts can record sales, sign up for storefronts, track the progress towards their goal, record deliveries, claim rewards, things like that. The unit leader portal is where you can see and kind of review how your troops are doing. You can track their progress, give them kudos whenever they have a big sale or do well at a storefront. So during the next couple weeks, you might want to really take a look at both the app and the leader portal to make sure that you're familiar with both and are able to help your troops out as well. And a big discussion is always credit cards and how that credit card fee is going to be paid. Well, the Trails End app is a quick way to make an easy transaction happen. Trails End will pay the credit card fee. What was that? Trails End pays for the credit card fees, but you must use the Trails End app for the credit card fees to be covered. So you can't use the Square app or anything like that. Scouts will receive higher reward points, and it basically says you don't have to be handling as much cash, which is always helpful when people are moving in and out of these storefronts and not having the exact cash on hand. As I said, the Trails End app does work with Square readers, but or the card can be entered manually. When choosing a Bluetooth reader, you can also accept Apple Pay or Google Pay. And I want to repeat this, that Trails End will cover the credit card fees. It's a great way to make it easy on you and your families without having to worry about running to the bank and making sure you have exact cash on hand. And I think
that's right. Go ahead, Drew. I just wanted to add something. So,
go ahead.
yeah, so new this year as well. I don't know how many people use Cash App, but that's going to be a new option this year, along with Google Pay and Apple Pay, and of course, Cash. And so, just to be able to know that, and you got to utilize it as you need to.
And I'm sure the next question will be, Travis, if they're using Cash App, will they have Venmo as an
Venmo isn't an option just yet. So
Okay.
I verified that with Trails End. So great question, Drew.
Well, it's more that I know that was the next question everyone had on the top of their mind.
For sure.
But now we're going to move on to what makes a successful sale. And it's always about
And
preparation.
Drew, sorry, Drew, let me just add a few things really quick in regard to the Trails End storefront and ways to sell, if you don't mind.
Yep.
So for those of you might have heard this, but those of you who have not, so Trails End, they are recommending more this year to have one scout and one parent at a 2-hour storefront shift. That obviously is it's an option. It's an optional thing. So of course, if you want to continue to do what you're doing, you're more than welcome to do that. Obviously, there's a lot of numbers involved in why they would recommend that, just because they do have scouts selling at $500 an hour in some places. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can do a one scout, one parent per every 2 hour shift, be sure to email me or Kyle. We'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Another recommendation that we would make as a council is just don't overcrowd your storefronts. I've seen storefronts where they have 8 to 10 scouts. It's just sometimes just a zoo at that point. I would recommend the fewer the numbers, the better, just to be able to help maintain crowd control, but more importantly, help your scouts get the credit that they deserve for being able to try new things. And then the other thing I wanted to share that's new this year is for any of you that are returning, there's a cash to credit option now. So, for instance, as your families are out there, many people are going to be paying and buying things with cash. So, at the end of the sale and the shift, a lot of times there's kind of this question of, hey, what do you know? You're getting a call from a family or from someone that just did a storefront shift, and they're like, hey, we got a bunch of cash, we don't know what to do with it. So Trails End built into their app a way for those families to go ahead and claim that cash through the app as credit. So what that means, for instance, is you have a family that sells at a storefront and they receive $100 in cash from their sales. So instead of worrying about misplacing or holding the cash until the next scout meeting, they can use the button called cash to credit in the app. So they pay $100 using, this is an example, so they pay that $100 using their own credit card or whatever into the app, and then they would keep that cash as if it was theirs. So it's just swapping it out. So it's just less of a headache where you have to go meet someone under a light post in a shady area. And so it's just an easier way. So there's a cash to credit option there. All right, back to you, Drew.
All right. So as I was saying, preparation is going to make a very successful sale. First step is participating in the training, which you're doing tonight, and gives you an extra 3% commission. But this
2%.
slide will also kind of give you some ideas on how to be even more prepared. We talked about the council's website, and the council's website has a lot of different trainings, not only for specific to our area, but also Trails End has a YouTube page with a bunch of different training modules, training videos for both scouts and leaders. So if you ever have any questions, sometimes it's right there in the trainings. Something else you'll want to do is plan your program and key adventures this year so that way you can determine exactly how much money needs to be raised this year by your troops. There's an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to determine how much you need to budget for a successful sale, and it will break down how much each scout needs to sell in order to meet that goal. Something that we've seen in the chat is securing storefronts when they are open, and Melinda and Rebecca will work on that and make sure that you guys have whatever options are given so that way we can make sure Skyway has an even better year this year. And of course, when you're doing storefronts, make sure you have all the necessary items that you need, the square readers, if you're using cash, the table, the product itself, and that will really help present it for the people when you go to sell them. As I said, review the training. You can set up the accounts in the app for not only yourself, but your scouts as well. And that way you can also work when you talk to the families about being comfortable and being familiar with the app. And going to the next slide, as I said, Council has a really great resource page right there, tampabayscouting.org/popcorn. It has guidebooks both for the leader and for the scouts. I talked about that budget planning tool. I encourage you all to go look at it. Try to use it so that way you know exactly how much inventory you need to get and sell. Also has a nice step-by-step of how to order the inventory, how to book a storefront, and everything else under the sun. On the right-hand side is all the important dates of when orders are due, when the inventory is distributed, when the mid-season order is due, and when that second distribution occurs. So bookmark that page, get used to it. It has a lot of great information for everyone. Something I talked about, on this page, and we're going to go to the next slide, is that leader guide and the guide for the scouts. So once again, go through each one of these because they're just a little different. The adult or instructor's guide has more details, dates, contact information, whereas the Scouts guide is more fun things like the prizes that they can win, a calendar, things like that, as opposed to the more detail-oriented things that are in the leader's guide. You can download both of those as well, so that way you don't have to continue to go to the website. And I'm almost done here, but the next one, as I said, was that budget template, Excel spreadsheet. So if you put in, how much your adventure and expenses are going to be, your dues, supplies, things like that, this will calculate how much you need to fundraise this year. And you can also estimate storefront hours of what you'll need to hit those goals. You can do that both for your entire troop or just individual sales, depending on how you want to handle it. But it's a very, very nice tool. I don't know if Travis or Kyle was the one that set this up, but it's a really, really useful for all the leaders to go and take a look at now before we start ordering the popcorn. And lastly, something that you can do is get your unit excited. Make it fun for them. Do a kickoff with, since it's popcorn, I'd say, popcorn related games, prizes, things like that. Look at your calendar, set your goals, and let the scouts know what their individual goals are. So that way, if they hit a goal, it's something fun for them to look forward to. These are just some things that we heard at the at the end of every year. We do kind of a top earners breakfast. And, something they did was, even though Trails End has their own incentives, they created their own internal incentives to get their own troops excited. So it's something that if you have the ability to do that, doesn't need to be a big incentive, but something that kind of gets them motivated out there year after year to continue to sell the popcorn. Something that I think will go a long way, as opposed to just a 1 year off type of deal. And with that, I think my presentation is over.
That's right. Thank you, Drew. Like I said, for those of you that are in the Skyway District, Drew Al-Jakati is your go-to as your district colonel. Next up, we're going to talk about some of the training and live support that Trails End and the council offer. And to be able to talk about that, I'm going to turn the time over to Heather Martin. She is the Lake Region district colonel. So for any of you out in Lake Region, she's going to be your go-to person. So go ahead, Heather.
Thank you. So there is a few different trainings that we will be going over. This one is a unit leader training. Right now, we are doing a training for you guys just to get you guys up to it, but there is a few more trainings that you can take. For new and existing colonels, you are encouraged to view the online training that we're doing on August 6th. We're going to also do a new unit colonel question and answer. This is going to be the spot for those that are brand new. If you're confused, you need help, they'll be able to help out with getting those questions answered. The other resources they have out there is the Trails End YouTube channel. It's a great channel to be able to go to, be able to listen and watch all the different things, especially if you have not signed up for any of the training through Trails End itself. You'll be able to go through, watch them. It does go through a lot of stuff, so take your time with that when you go and do it. The Trails End Facebook page. They have a Facebook page. People are on there all the time asking questions. Other ones will be on there helping answer. They are another great resource. The Greater Tampa Bay Area Council popcorn webpage. and our popcorn Facebook page. Does not ever hurt to go ahead and ask a question on there. If somebody does not know the answer, somebody else might know the answer. Go ahead, Travis. Create an engaging and energetic pitch for your sale. This is how the scouts are able to get ready for selling. Perfect sales pitch. I always have my kids work on it. Some of them a little easier than others, especially when they're younger. They have a little harder time with this one, but you're going to introduce themselves and where they're from. That's the easiest way to get started. You can always then have them go into why they're earning the money. A lot of them are telling them they're going to summer camp. Some of them also have a bigger adventure that they're trying to go to. Perfect thing for them is to tell them they're going on that kind of adventure, because those ones are the ones that they're going to really want to earn the money for. To close up the sale, they're going to want to ask them if they can count on their support. Ending of the pitch is telling them that we will take credit cards. Different sales tips that we have is to always wear your field uniforms. Field uniforms will get people to really look at them, and they actually do engage a little bit more with the scouts when they're in their field uniforms. Always speak clearly and say thank you. My son, even if he gets told no, he always tells them thank you. And it actually does 90% of the time stop the person, and they'll come back and re-engage with them, especially when they're courteous and they are very kind to the people that are coming out. Download the app and log in advance. The more people you ask, the greater time you'll get of saying yes. So if they ask every single person, tell them thank you every single time, at least one person will say yes. Know your products. Best thing is go over the products with the scouts. Tell them what they have. Tell them how much they are. This way the scouts are able to answer those questions. Have an answer ready. What is your favorite flavor? Always tell them what is your favorite flavor, and usually that's the one the person will actually buy. And asking the customer to support you and scouting. Go ahead, Travis. Trails End book storefronts. Trails End has booked the top retailers. We've got Publix, Winn-Dixie, Lowe's got booked. So there's a lot of different locations. Over 14,000 hours have been booked for Greater Tampa Bay Area Council. Use your storefront guide document for a step-by-step process of how to book a storefront. Most should already booked the storefront, so hopefully you did. But if you haven't, that is going to be your go-to on how to book the storefronts. Storefront booking is done through your unit's Trails and Leader dashboard using your favorite web browser. I actually was able to do it on my phone, but it wasn't through the app. It was through the actual internet on my phone. But it did work. It just took a little longer. But if you use your computer, you get to have a little bit more sight than what you do on a phone. Families then book trips through the Trails End app on their phone or a smart device. Storefronts. We recommend booking 1 to 2 months in advance. Reason why you want to book so far in advance is that there's going to be other areas, other groups going to try to sell. It's easier to have that already commitment. Look for high foot traffic times and locations. Visit in your uniform with one or more scouts. Ask the manager after shopping at the store. They're wanting to see that we're shopping at the store. I always go into the store afterwards or even beforehand and pick up some stuff normally. If permission is granted, get details of the expectations and then follow them. I always have it in writing of what is expected of them at the storefronts. Always say thank you. And don't forget to manually add the storefront into Trails End Unit Leader platform. It not only just gives the chance of the families to be able to reserve the shifts, it also, when you go through and it says somebody else books it for the same exact day, it will actually flag it, saying that that one is already in their system for that storefront. Travis, go ahead. 70% stays local. So 70% of all sales will stay local with us. As you can tell, some of the prices did change. Actually, I think the only one that changed was popcorn is now $20. So it's going to be the same price as your white cheddar. your unbelievable butter, salted caramel, and s'mores are all going to be 25, and our $15 bag is going to be your kettle corn. There
And let me
is more
go
additional
ahead.
products online.
There you go. I was just about to say that. Thanks, Heather.
Also, if you go online, you can get the nutritional facts because we will get asked at the store about certain things on the popcorns. So it's better to have that nutritional facts in front of you versus having to look on the actual bags of popcorn. Go ahead, Travis. Trails and need to know. So there is different ways for you to put in for your order. One thing that I recommend is putting in how much you want to try to go for amounts. So like say you want to do $35,000 in sales, it's better to have them calculate it because you can actually adjust it still. If you don't want to have 15 popping corn, but you want to have so many of another one, you can minus and plus them out. It does work out well, and it actually works out to the point that it's down to almost what you sold the year before. Go ahead, Travis.
All right. Well, thank you, Heather, on that. Let me just be sure to just reiterate. So this training, along with any other training, can be found if you go to the leader through your unit leader portal through the Trails End website. It includes training such as the storefront best practices, managing your inventory, and even sales pitch ideas to help your scouts be successful. So utilize those trainings, take a little bit of time. Sometimes we expect things to be plug and play, but we do need to put a little bit of time and effort, especially if you're new. It's worth it. They keep them short and sweet, and be sure to run with that. All right, let's talk about the fun stuff too, right? So we got rewards, prizes, and more. So let's just jump in. So we simplified the commission structure a little bit just to make the math easier. We also gave it a wider sales range to be able to give our units a chance to be able to earn even more commission this year. So we're not nitpicking on little things. So we, like I said, simplified it, compacted it. So hopefully all of you take advantage of that because we want you guys to be able to have as much money in your pockets so that you can go do the things that you want to do. We're very blessed to be in this council. And so we have a lot of great properties. We have a lot of great places to go camping all around the state as well. And so be sure to utilize this and hit those goals that you want to do. And then as you can see there, we had an early registration bonus, so a $50 credit for the first 75 units that signed up before June 30th. So for those of you that qualified for that, you're going to get a credit at the end of the sale for $50. It just kind of knocks off anything that you might owe, or it puts a little bit more towards what Trails End owes you. So just a heads up on that. And then you can see there the 75% club. For those of you that are new, this is something that we did last year that worked out really well. So basically what it means is that you need to have 75% of your scouts that are registered sign up, register to sell, and sell a minimum of $15. Okay. Very easy to do. You saw there that the price for the cheapest bag of popcorn was $15. So that's a good way for us to, it's a good way for you to be able to engage your families and your parents. Plus it gives you that extra commission as well with the 75% club. And with the registration, based off of the number of scouts that are, we're basing it off of August of 2023. So that was right when the new 12-month process for membership started. So Kyle and I will be sending out how many scouts were in your unit over the next week or so. So you have an idea of how many kids, especially as we gear up for fall recruitment, you're going to be able, a lot of you are going to be able to outpace all of that as you go out and recruit new kids. So it's really not going to be too hard for you to be able to hit that 75% club as well. And like I said, it's just a minimum, and each of those kids to qualify for your unit to qualify would just have to sell a minimum of $15. So we kept it really low, really easy to be able to move forward. Next up is, this is really exciting. So of course, Trails End has a wonderful prize program. They moved to just doing Amazon gift cards. And as we know, we can literally buy anything on Amazon. I mean, if you wanted to, you could buy a bike lock and, lock the nearest, bike next to each other. or it's funny, you can buy even traffic cones on Amazon. Literally could buy anything. And so for these kids, we want to be Trails End offers this opportunity. So we mentioned the point system. So you can see there that depending on the amount of sales, depending on whatever promotion's going on or whatever the case may be, your kids have the opportunity to really just blow it out of the water and earn a lot of money on Amazon to be able to purchase what they need or what they want, whether it's a new tent, whether it's a scooter, whether it's walkie-talkies, whatever the case may be. Lots of great things that your kids can do. And this year, all units are going to participate in the Trails End Rewards program. We no longer offer the cash over prizes commission, but as you can see back on the commission page, it doesn't change anything. All of you still have the potential to be able to earn 40%. And so all of that's going to be available for you. All right. So everyone's going to participate in the Trails End Rewards program. So those kids are going to be able to earn Amazon gift cards. And the other great things, like I said, earn extra points throughout the sale with Trails End promotions, and then, of course, other ways. And then be sure to check the webpage for more information. Trails End lets me know or lets Kyle know literally 3 or 4 days before they do a promotion. So what we do is we try to scramble, get that up on the Popcorn webpage. We'll get it out on the Facebook page, just so all of your kids can be able to participate in that and earn those extra points towards those Amazon gift cards. All right. And then for this, to go along with the Pokemon theme, which we're really excited about. So of course, I don't know how many of you are into Pokemon or not, but we went ahead and ran with it. We tried to simplify the top selling program as well. You can see there we have a great looking patch, which is going to look great on a lot of Scout uniforms as they earn that patch after selling $100. And then being able to get that Fandango gift card. And then that Ultra Ball Club is where we actually lowered the amount for a kid to be able to go to the top sellers party, so that we wanted to be able to open that up. So this year, we're going to be having our top selling party on January 11th of 2025. So I guess technically next year. We're going to be doing it at Main Event in Wesley Chapel. They're going to have the whole thing closed down for us. We're going to be able to go in and have a ton of fun with some food. So be sure that you set that goal at minimum with your kids that are interested in coming to Main Event to be a part of that top sellers party. And then also this year, we went a lot with the experience opportunities as well. So we're going to offer 2 fun cards. So for a youth and an adult, to be able to have a fun card to Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. And then for that luxury ball club, it's going to be 2 one-day tickets to Universal Studios. So a youth and an adult to be able to go as well. So really good stuff. And then as you can see on the site there, or on the slide as well, the top 3 sellers over in the entire council, they're going to get a Pokemon trophy similar to that design. So we thought that would be really fun. Those kids can, that are the top sellers, they can put that trophy in their rooms and all of those things. So lots of good stuff going on with the rewards. And then let me just jump into this. This is one of my favorite things that I'm very passionate about. As I mentioned before, we had a stellar year last year in the amount of popcorn and donations that came in, that we were able to give back to the community, especially those heroes and helpers that are in our communities. Like I mentioned, those policemen, firemen, hospital workers, military, anyone and everyone that we have here locally that helps someone in need. This is where that goes to. And recognition to them. So this is going to be the patch designed for this year for those kids that participate in it. And these are the requirements. You can see Scout needs to collect and record in the Trails End app a minimum of $75 through Heroes and Helpers to be able to qualify. And then for you leaders that are interested in getting the patch, you need to have 3 of those 3 scouts, at minimum 3 scouts, achieve that goal as well. And then we'll be able to track that and get those patches to you so you can proudly wear those around on your uniform as well. So lots of good stuff. Really excited about the Helpers and Heroes and Helpers program this year. And for those of you that went out and about in the community taking popcorn, I want to tell you thank you. I hope that it was a wonderful experience. I hope that you had tons of smiles. We saw some great pictures, and we look forward to being able to have and engage more of you, more units that are interested in taking popcorn at the end of the sale season out and about to your communities, so that we can spread the good word of scouting, that we are alive and well. So keep up that great work there. All right, let me jump into some of the council sales specifics. Here are the orders and distribution kind of dates. So all of this can be found on the GTBAC popcorn webpage. You can see there's some big dates coming up. So we have our initial order coming up pretty quick. Of course, we've got a replenishment order that we're going to be offering as well, and along with the distribution locations. In regard to the distribution locations, you can see for those of you that are returning, a lot of the same places. And with that, we're going to be sending out over the next few weeks a Sign Up Genius link that will give you a way to be able to sign your unit up on what time and at what location for you to pick up your popcorn that you pre-order. So be on the lookout for that email. Like I said, it's going to be probably in the next 2 weeks or so. We're going to send out a Sign Up Genius link. So be sure to check that out and get signed up for the time that works best for you. So let me just jump into these key dates so you can see all of this information is on the web page. It's in the leader's guide. I would bookmark that web page, the popcorn web page, just so you have it on hand. One key date I want you to all notice is on September 14th, we're doing what we call a mid-sale popcorn swap. This is going to be a new thing, and this gives everyone an opportunity, if you're interested, for your unit to bring back any popcorn and swap it with another unit in person. Or if you have some popcorn that you just want to return to the council, we will take 100% of that back. It does need to be sealed, and it does need to be in the respective flavored case. I'm going to say that again. It does need to be sealed, and it does need to be in the respective flavored case for us to be able to take it back. Some things might not be selling as well as you think based off of your pre-order. Like, let's say you have a bunch of Unbelievable Butter, which is the microwavable stuff, and you need to be able to return that. We're going to be happy to take that off your hands, because there's probably going to be a unit that's probably going to need it somewhere else. So, just be aware of that. So it'll be a fun day. It might be a little bit of a crazy circus at the scout office, but it'll be fun. And then also one other thing to note as well, at the end of the sale, and this was something that the district colonels decided on and put together. So at the end of the sale, we're going to have some return dates. Just note that it'll be 50% returnable. Okay, so 50% of your popcorn you can return back to the council. And that goes back to, it needs to be sealed, and it needs to be in the respective flavored box or case as well. So just a heads up on that. So just wanted to share that with you. So we will go ahead. So you can take a screenshot of this. Like I said, we're going to send this out. This is being recorded. Just a quick checklist. It's not everything. It's not perfect, but it's a good overview of what you should be doing right now. Hopefully all of you have been working on it. Of course, setting your budget, getting your goals together. Many of you have already put your pre-order in for popcorn. If you have not had a chance to do that, that's okay. You do have some time. So be sure to work with your unit committees or unit key threes to kind of put together the best plan moving forward. We wanted to give you everything ahead of time so that you could have enough runway. So that's why we're having this meeting tonight instead of the day before you needed to order popcorn of that deadline. So take the time, but just don't delay as well. Sometimes as scouters, we're really good at procrastinating things. So this is all the contact information. Like I said, this can all be found on the GTBAC popcorn webpage. So you're going to be able to see who your district colonel is. your district colonel. If they don't know, if you have a question and they don't know, that's okay, because they're going to send it up the chain. They're going to send it to me. They're going to send it to Kyle. And if we don't know, we've got Ryan Lundberg, who is our Trails End popcorn rep on speed dial, and he's going to be able to know, because if he doesn't, then we're in trouble. But hopefully none of you are asking any of those types of questions that even Ryan at Trails End doesn't know. But a lot of good stuff going on. And I just want to tell you again, that's the end of all of our slides here. But I just want to tell all of you, thank you so much for coming. Kyle, if you could just go ahead and throw that roster attendance link into the chat. Be sure to go ahead and fill that out as quickly as possible. And if you do have any questions, we're going to be sticking around to be able to answer them. Just another reminder for those of you that are new to the popcorn sale, we are going to be offering a kind of an FAQ or Q&A on August 6th. If you are interested in participating in that, go ahead and send an email to Kyle or I. Kyle, if you want to throw your email address in the chat box. But that'll be for August 6th, and it's going to be an evening Zoom meeting similar to this. But that's where we're going to kind of deep dive. So we're going to talk about the unit leader portal more. We'll be able to talk about pre-orders and how to order popcorn. So we'll get into kind of the nitty gritty of the Trails End app as well. So if you're interested in that, send Kyle Moldine or myself an email so that we can get you on the docket and get that information out to you. So as for questions, looks like we were able to answer a lot of them. It looks like Kyle and the district colonels were able to answer a lot of them in there. If you want, you can go ahead and log off if you took that opportunity to fill out the attendance roster. But if you do have questions, go ahead and stay on. We'll be able to get that answered. It looks like Heather, you said there was a question about the 50%. Kyle, were you? Let me see here. Oh, too many questions going in. Sorry, guys. It's like scrolling faster than I can. So for the 50% return, it's going to be what you have checked out. So we'll be able to look on the system and be able to see what you currently have checked out or what you have on hand, and then we'll be able to you'll be able to return 50% of that. I hope that answers your question, Ben. And we'll be sending out an email with some of the FAQs as well. So don't feel like you have to get all of your questions answered tonight if you need to hop off. So go ahead, Kyle, if you would just go ahead and throw the attendance link back up. Perfect. You did that. So Cindy, you were talking about is the 50% by flavor. No, it's just overall. It's just overall. So what you currently have in stock. Yep. Because hopefully you've sold everything else that you ordered already. And honestly, we hope no one returns any popcorn, because all of you have sold it all and just have bucket loads of money to use for scouting. But if you want to go ahead and once you get the attendance roster filled out, go ahead and get that done. If you need to hop off, go ahead. We're going to be sticking around to be able to answer more questions. But feel free to hop off, and thank you all so much. But Kyle and I are going to stay on for a few more minutes to answer any more questions that you have. If you do want to ask a question, just go ahead and throw that hand emoji up. We could probably go ahead and start unmuting some folks as we go. Thanks, Nick. It's good to see you. But that's all we have for tonight, unless you guys all have questions.
I see no hand emojis.
I don't either. Thanks, Heather. Go ahead and hop off if you like. Perfect. Go ahead and throw those hand emojis up there, Ben. If you have a question, there should be a button for you to put like that little hand emoji up where your screen is. So if you can't find it, that's okay. So I think I see Ben. It says with Withlacoochee District on that one. So got a question there. Great. Okay, let's see. Oh, Caroline, there it is. Okay. My bad. It was scrolling faster than I could. All right, Ben, let me see. You're still on. Yep, there you are. We're gonna ask you to unmute. Let's see if we can get you to unmute there. I saw yours first, Ben.
Hey,
there
there
we
we are.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was sitting there looking for the hand button and I couldn't find it. And then go to the next person. I forgot my question.
Oh, Caroline, on the Withlacoochee District one.
No, actually it's Emily, but Caroline, Caroline, or Jeremy's wife had a question on the return in the chat.
I might have missed that one.
She wrote 50% of what we have in stock or 50% of what is ordered that can be returned.
Yeah, so it's going to be what's in stock because what you guys ordered by that time, by the end of the sale, a majority of that's going to be gone. So, for instance, most of the time, our units are checking more popcorn out during the mid order. So we'll have that all in the system. So 50% of that will be able to come back.
I don't know if she's still on, but
But that's okay. Hopefully that answers questions. Ben, did you remember your question?
I remembered what I was going to ask.
Go for it.
For converting the cash sales into credit card sales with the parents and
Yeah.
stuff, how long is that after the sale going to be available? For instance, we have the
Yeah.
sale, they
Mhm.
come to me and turn in the money, and I convert it to cash or from cash to credit. Am I going to be able to do that like several hours or the next day? Convert those, or do I have to do it right there during that sale?
Yeah, so the family that's selling actually can do it without you needing to be present. That's kind of the cool thing this year is that they built it into the app. And so a parent can go in right after their shift, literally right after their shift, excuse me, and they can click that button, cash to credit, and they can take care of it all right there without you needing to worry about it.
Is there a time limit on how long it could be until it gets done though? Or
No,
does it have to be?
there's no time limit.
Okay.
So it just depends on what you want to do with your families. So if you tell them do it right after the sale, so it's a less headache for you, or if you say, hey guys, let's just do it at the next scout meeting, that's up to you guys. But
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Sounds
there's
good.
no timeline.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, obviously before the sale, the whole sale is over after October, but before then would be great.
Yeah. No, we go and deposit all the cash and stuff, and I was like, we just use our PAC card to pay for it.
Yeah, and one thing to remember that I forgot to mention was when the parents or you do that from the cash to credit, it actually gives the kids those extra points towards those Amazon gift cards. So instead of getting maybe 1 point, maybe they're getting 1.5
Yep,
when it moves over to that credit card.
that was the point to my question. Exactly.
There you go. Right on. Okay. Any more questions out there? It looks like we still have a few folks. Cindy, welcome. Didn't even see you there. Sorry. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and end it. If you guys do have any more questions,